Hi, everyone. I'm Josh Camrus, and this is Mike Furlong, and we are really excited to be able to demo our Parsity cohort project with you all. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this demo. So before we jump into the UI, just to provide some context, our cohort of 6, we self-organized into an Agile team for a single 2-week sprint using twice daily stand-ups in order to build this. And then so we also combined the Agile with other organizational techniques, such as a Trello board, so we could claim and assign tasks and know who was working on what, extensive use of pair programming, and then also having a really well-defined code and pull request review process so that we could handle over 110 pull requests in this 2-week time frame in order to successfully build this app. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Mike, who's going to begin to show you the UI.
Thanks for that, Josh. So this is our Parsity Cohort Agile project. It's an app that's used, it's a CRM, so a customer relationship manager for sales teams. We named it Closr because every salesperson knows that you should always be closing. So this is built on the MERN, the MERN stack, MongoDB, Express, React, and Node. In full disclosure, as we're starting, we used Faker.js for some of the names in here, so there'll be some names that are a little silly due to the word randomization. So here we can see the main list where it shows the companies that our sales team is currently dealing with or has dealt with in archives. So that shows basic information, and from here we're able to click into any individual company's view, and we can edit or delete the entry from the modules here, as well as view active deals for that company, which we're able to click through to. I won't go into too much detail on this page because Josh will do that in just a moment. Additionally, another company's feature that our team was proud of is on this form here where we add a company. Users are actually able to search by the public URL of the company and get the form auto-filled for them. So here we're going to search Red Hat because we're in the Triangle in North Carolina, and that's kind of our hometown heroes in Raleigh. And when we search Red Hat, we'll see here that the form is pre-filled and the user can just go ahead and submit. And then we have a company entry ready to go. No active deals for this one yet, but I'm willing to bet that Josh is just the guy to help us with that.
Thank you, Mike. So coming over here, I'll share my screen. And as we go over to the Deals tab, you'll see our drag and drop here. And let's add a deal for Red Hat that we just added. So say our sales team trying to sell them some computers for an expected amount. Now the company, after Mike adding it, will now auto-populate here. And then they can also select the expected close date for this deal. Now, once they submit that, the deal will be added to the drag and drop dashboard here. And a user can then update a deal status by dragging the deal along into the different categories. Now, as deals are dragged among the different categories, the total will then update with the total value of sales in that particular status. In addition, we have a fully functioning filter by company and price. Select a company to narrow down there. You can select a price range to only show deals within that price range. And now, in addition to this full deals page, a user can also select a particular deal to then view additional information. All the information here, they can edit it just like with companies, similarly delete just like companies. And then there's also the archive option, which for a deal that is either closed won or closed lost, it can be archived to then store it in the database without it showing up on the active deals page here. This dashboard also shows the different status changes of that deal at the time in which those happened. So going back here, that archive deal brings me into our dashboard. So now our dashboard utilizes the active and archive deals to show useful information to a sales team about how they're doing. So our first graphs here just gives an overall conversion percentage of what percent of deals end up being either won or lost. And both of those are shown here. Our next one then takes all the active deals or all the archive deals, that have been closed won, and then groups them by company, finds the top 5 companies, and then provides those 5 companies sorted by sales amount and gives that information there. Then our bottom two graphs give this first one, the percent likelihood of a deal at each stage ended up to be closed won based on our historical archive deals. And then finally over here, a sales by month, which finds all the deals won within the past 6 months, groups them by month, and then totals them up to provide the sales team with how many sales they have finished each month over the last 6 months. So yeah, that's an overview of all the basic functionality of our user interface. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mike to share a little bit how this process went for us.
Great, Josh. Yeah, so for us, coming into this, our cohort really had varying levels of exposure to Agile disciplines and methods. So some of us had been exposed to it, others were kind of just learning about it. Despite those varying levels of experience, we really did manage to come together and use them with some discipline. And that helped us gain a deeper understanding of the planning requirements and just what it takes to be on a software team. And we learned that from our successes as well as our mistakes. A few mistakes we made, we learned from, we didn't pick our style conventions early enough, and that led to some extra work later on to make sure our components were reusable and were testable. And then we also deployed late, which just ended up taking our backend team a little bit of extra time to get the deployment working and iron out all the little creases. The big successes we had, obviously we love our drag and drop interface. That was a big learning curve for our front end team. We also had a lot of success with pair programming. Our entire backend in Node.js was pair programmed, and it really helped our backend team avoid errors and bugs and really get that solid interaction with the database. And then they were able to move on to the front end and help button up some of those features as well. We also had a lot of strong performance on version control and code review. We implemented that process early on. And as Josh said before, we had over 110 pull requests in a 2-week period. And every single one of those was reviewed by at least 2 team members. Most of them were reviewed by more. So that helped us come to a place where we delivered an application that we felt really proud of, especially in 2 weeks. And we really appreciate you all coming and watching our demonstration. So all of our names will be included below. Again, my name is Mike Furlong, and this is Josh Camrus with Parsity. And we will be around. Feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. And we look forward to becoming a part of the development community.